Financial markets in the Asia-Pacific region have jumped hours after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 90-day pause on most reciprocal tariffs. And we'll be getting back to that story in just a moment. But of course, just quickly taking a look at what is making headlines at this point. We are going to get back to that. But let's quickly take you to the story of the moment. The higher tariff rates on China remain, however, and President Trump has hit Beijing with an even higher levy of 125%, and this just hours after China announced an 84% tariff on goods imported from the United States. But for the latest, let's cross now to SABC News correspondent Laura Westbrook, who's in Hong Kong. Laura, good morning. So financial markets in other parts of the world jumping after the announcement that Trump would pause those reciprocal tariffs for 90 days for everyone but China. So how's that announcement likely to affect the markets over in China?
Yeah, we've seen a relief rally here in Asia, with many markets rising throughout the day, tracking those gains that were made in Wall Street overnight. We saw the S&P 500 closing at 9.5%, its sharpest single-day gain since October 2008. Really, the markets here reflecting relief from Donald Trump's quite stunning turnaround, where he announced that countries apart from China would get this 90-day pause. Of course, China is now subject to 125% tariffs. China has also retaliated, and those tariffs are also in effect. But for other parts of Asia, such as the United States, key allies such as South Korea and Japan, they will be looking to see if this means that whether they can come to a deal. There have been phone calls between South Korea's acting President Han Duck-soo as well as the Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba with Donald Trump. Apparently those calls went well. We are also reportedly Vietnam, which had been subject to pretty high tariffs, it's also looking to do a deal. So markets here reacting. There is this pause, but obviously uncertainty remains at what will happen after this 90 days, with many countries looking to do a deal with the Trump administration.
And to that point, Laura, the Donald Trump basically speaking to that everybody seems to making a beeline to get in touch with the U.S. government regarding these tariffs. But has there been any official reaction from the Chinese government to this latest hike and of talks between themselves and the U.S. administration?
Yeah, we are waiting to hear a response to these latest tariffs. Overnight, China announced its retaliatory tariffs of 84%. And China also has released a white paper where it did say that it is looking for dialogue. It said that Beijing and Washington can resolve differences in economic and trade area through equal-footed dialogue and mutually beneficial cooperation. So really, Beijing saying it's open to negotiation, but it wants to be treated as an equal. Equally, we have had some quite tough talk coming out of Beijing through state media as well. China's foreign ministry spokesperson has taken to social media. Mao Ning is her name, and she said that we are Chinese, we are not afraid of provocations, we don't back down. So this is really reflecting what we've seen in the past few days, which is a tone of defiance as well as determination coming from Beijing. But there is no doubt that these tariffs will have an impact to China's economy. Exports has been a rare bright spot for China's slowing economy. It is trying to boost its domestic consumption to try to offset and mitigate some of these risks, but that has been hurt by high youth unemployment as well as a protracted property crisis in China, and it will also take time for these fiscal stimulus measures to take place. But China is also looking to deepen regional cooperation President Xi Jinping is reportedly going on some trips to Vietnam and some other countries in Southeast Asia. There was also a call between Premier Li Qiang and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. And so that really shows that China is looking to deepen economic ties with other countries as well.
And of course, just finally, Laura, for most of us, watching this, the question is, how is this translating on the ground? Because reading reports of how Apple flew in 5 flights full of iPhones from India and China to beat that Trump tariff deadline. Those sort of stories, are you hearing a lot of that on the ground?
Well, Hong Kong is also included in these tariffs on Chinese goods because the United States no longer treats Hong Kong as separate from mainland China. So I was speaking to some Hong Kong exporters on the latest tariff increase by Donald Trump, and one Hong Kong businessman told me that it is impossible to do business under these conditions. And he also said that he said it's impossible to do business under these conditions. He said anything above 50% makes it very tough to do business. And the chairman of the Shippers Council, a trade association here, said that many exporters based in many businesses in Hong Kong with factories outside of mainland China, which is known as the China +1 strategy, which is something that businesses implemented following Trump's first trade war. He said a lot of them will be trying to shift and push those immediate orders as quickly as possible, trying to get them out to beat that 90-day deadline. But he said for new orders, some businesses he expects to take a wait-and-see approach as they relook at their supply chains.
Laura Westbrook, thank you so much. That's SABC News correspondent Laura Westbrook speaking to us from Hong Kong.